On February 18th, many Qinghai Province residents died or disappeared in a devastating flood. The homes of herders were swept away by the floodwaters and herds of sheep perished. However, this tragic event remained unknown to the outside world for 12 days. Subsequently, Chinese state media reported that the flood was caused by rising lake levels, which led to the destruction of a dam. However, they dismissed the heavy casualties as rumors. In recent days, Chinese netizens have flooded social media with footage. Their posts mention that the flood has persisted more than 10 days, with dozens of deaths and thousands missing. Videos show sheep drowning as herders ride horses to rescue them. Recently, there has been considerable ice melt in Qinghai. One local resident said, "In my village, groundwater is seeping out in the farmland, and the roads are wet and icy." Chinese Weibo users have called for attention and widespread sharing. On March 1st, Qinghai flood became a hot search term. Meanwhile, social media users outside China condemned the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, for suppressing disaster-related news. Since the floods began on February 18th, it wasn't until March 2nd that China's Central Television, CCTV, reported on the social media attention about the Qinghai flood and the breach of the Donggaituana Dam. Their reports made it sound as if it was breaking news. It was found that the water level of the Donggaituana Lake in Maduo County, Guolo Prefecture, Qinghai Province, rose on February 18th, causing the left side of the dam to collapse. This resulted in increased flood pressure downstream in Dulan County, affecting 5 townships: Guoli, Xiangjia, Xiangride, Balong, and Zongjia Township. CCTV claimed that there were no deaths, yet the flood affected 2 households with 8 people in Dulan County and Zongjia area, causing the deaths of 195 livestock, damage to some hydraulic facilities, nearly 25 kilometers of rural roads, and numerous pastures. CCTV's statement has triggered anger among netizens. Some commenter said, "The breach and the disaster are real, the basic facts exist." Some netizens were dissatisfied with the lag in reporting and wondered if the delay was intentional. The flood started on the 18th, and now it's only being reported thanks to exposure by netizens. If the truth had been disclosed in time, would there still be any rumors? Some netizens also questioned, "It's not the rainy season. Was the dam built poorly?" The area affected by this flood is the Tuoso River Basin, which is an inland river located on the northern edge of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau and the southern part of the Kai Dam Basin. It involves 2 areas, Guolo Maduo County and Haishi Dulan County. From mid to late February, the area warmed above freezing, leading to partial melting of ice layers. Donggaituana Lake experienced a noticeable inflow of water, while the riverbed and surrounding land had not completely thawed. The river flows struggled to seep through, and the Tuoso River became the main discharge route for most of the melted lake water and ice blocks, eventually forming a flood similar to an ice jam. On March 4th, some netizens posted a video on Douyin analyzing the reasons for the dam collapse and why the authorities concealed the disaster, and called for more people to disclose the truth so that the victims can receive timely assistance.
The local government built a dam on Donggaituana Lake in 2018 to control the flow and water level. This dam is a gravity concrete dam, 20 meters high, 300 meters long, and 10 meters wide. There are 2 water release gates that can adjust the amount and speed of water release. Downstream of the dam is a river in Dulan County. On the 2 sides of the river are pastures and villages. High floodwaters can cause damage to the dam body or even cause collapse. When the dam was breached in February, the local government concealed the disaster mainly for the following reasons. First, to evade responsibility. The dam breach was caused by inadequate supervision. Insufficient maintenance or even corruption may lead to substandard quality of the dam and its inability to withstand the impact of floods. If the disaster was disclosed, it would expose the local government's negligence. In order to avoid being punished, they chose to conceal the disaster. Second, to control public opinion. The collapse of the lake was an extremely serious accident. If the disaster was made public, it would arouse people's anger and dissatisfaction. Third, in order to protect monetary interests. The dam involves the interests of local government officials and corporations, and is likely to involve secrets and inside information.
It's not yet the rainy season, so why did Qinghai experience a flood? Some industry insiders have written online to express their views. They suggest that Donggaetuona Lake experienced extensive snowmelt mixed with a large amount of ice, resulting in the dam breach. In the background of news videos, one can actually see many ice blocks floating in the floodwaters, which corroborates this point. Snowmelt floods cause more damage than regular floods, which cause erosion in river channels. Ice jams may occur in late winter and early spring. Ice blocks the river channel, causing resistance, and river levels rise. If the upstream ice melts first, while the downstream channel remains frozen, ice jams are prone to occur. During a jam, when the embankment is narrow, ice accumulates continuously, leading to tremendous pressure on the dam, which easily leads to breaches. Some scholars also suggest that the Chinese authorities always try to cover up the truth regarding natural disasters, even more so now as the two sessions are taking place. These refer to the National People's Congress and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. During this time, state media are more inclined to report good news and not bad news. Yang Jianqing, a senior Chinese public welfare activist based in the United States, told Taiwan's Central Broadcasting Corporation on March 4th that Chinese social media reports are irrefutable. Yang stated, "You can clearly see a lot of water, and many houses have been washed away. However, when you watch CCTV's report, there are no scenes of houses being washed away, only some livestock standing in the water. The difference in footage makes me feel that the credibility of the official report is very low. At least I tend to believe that the flood is more severe, causing deaths far beyond what the authorities claim, which is just some livestock." Yang pointed out that the Chinese authorities consistently attempt to conceal the true extent of natural disasters, manipulate public opinion, and downplay the severity of calamities. This tendency becomes particularly pronounced during events like the two sessions. Any reporting of disasters while officials promote their achievements would seem like losing face. Yang also mentioned that no matter how severe the local disaster is, the CCP will deal with it internally. Even if there are punishments, they will not allow anything to shift the focus of the two sessions. Whatever the main theme of the two sessions is, the central government will manipulate public opinion accordingly, and local authorities will cooperate in controlling it. However, when the extent of the disaster is concealed, the victims suffer more. Yang said, "Whether it's deaths or damage to homes, it's very difficult for the affected people to get assistance because the government says there are no human deaths, only some livestock deaths. It's possible that many people actually died, or more livestock died than was reported. If the truth is revealed, the authorities may provide more resources, and the public may donate money or provide on-site rescue. But without the truth, many people don't know, and it's impossible for them to help. This can exacerbate the local disaster and even cause more casualties." Yang pointed out that the central and local governments are all safeguarding their political achievements and manipulating public opinion through censorship. This flood occurred in Madua County, Golog Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture, Qinghai Province, which is the first county through which the main stream of the Yellow River passes. There are more than 5,000 lakes of various sizes in the county. Golog Prefecture is located in the hinterland of the Qinghai Tibet Plateau in the southeast of Qinghai Province and is known as the Pearl of northern Tibet. The ecology of Golog Prefecture has deteriorated rapidly in recent years. Within Madua County, Donggaetuona Lake sits at an altitude of approximately 4,200 meters, covering an area of about 230 square kilometers. It stands as one of the largest freshwater lakes on the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. Its water originates from the melting ice and snow of the Amne Machin Mountains, showing different colors depending on the season. In the summer, the lake resembles a sapphire nested among the mountains. Its most beautiful feature lies in the multitude of bar-headed geese, gulls, and other waterfowl that inhabit the wetlands. Against a deep blue sky and autumn grasses, the azure lake waters make a beautiful picture. This breathtaking scenery looks like a paradise on earth, and local Tibetans revere Donggaetuona as a sacred lake. Dr. Wang Weiluo, a doctoral student in land planning at the Technical University of Dortmund in Germany, once stated that Madua County once boasted the world's best grasslands, covering 65% of the county's total area. At that time, it only required 5 acres of grassland to raise a single head of sheep. However, today, grassland degradation is severe, desertification is expanding, and the depleted grasslands can only support 1 sheep per 1,000 acres. Dr. Wang points out that China's glaciers are mainly distributed in the Tibetan Plateau, and few people realize how badly these glaciers have degraded. Today, the glaciers on the Tibetan Plateau are rapidly disappearing on a large scale. The intensity and duration of the East and South Asian monsoons entering the interior are decreasing, resulting in changes in rainfall patterns. The dry season is prolonged and the rainy season is more intense. Climate change adversely affects plant life, especially agricultural production, and therefore people's livelihoods. Dr. Wang believes that the Tibetan Plateau is the most severely environmentally damaged area in the world, with rising temperatures, glacier and snowmelt, grassland degradation, desertification, declining water quality, and increased geological disasters, all of which endanger Tibet and China's environment and survival. Lobsang Lingji Doje, Deputy Secretary General of the China Tibetology Research Center, has dedicated himself to researching ecological protection in the Tibetan Plateau. He wrote about the significant recession of glaciers, severe land degradation, soil erosion, increased threats to biodiversity, reduction of rare biological resources, and increased natural disasters. The Qinghai Tibet Plateau has a glacier reserve of 5,590 cubic kilometers, which has been dwindling in the last 30 years. On May 22, 2021, a 7.4 magnitude earthquake occurred in Madua County, Golok Prefecture, causing the collapse of 2 bridges on the Shilai Expressway. Dr. Wang Weiluo connected the earthquake to hydropower development in the region. These events, known as reservoir-induced earthquakes, underscore the human-induced nature of the disaster, distinguishing it from natural occurrences. Dr. Wang said, the higher the dam, the higher the proportion of reservoir-induced earthquakes. 25% of reservoirs with a dam height of more than 100 meters in China have triggered earthquakes. Chinese investigative journalist Zhao Lanjian spent 10 years investigating the ecological environment around the Yangtze River, Yellow River, Qinghai, Tibet, and Inner Mongolia. Zhao Lanjian said, the deterioration of China's ecological environment is visible to everyone, such as the cutoff of many water systems in the Yangtze River and Yellow River. Some factors may be environmental changes, and some may be excessive dam construction, uneven distribution of water flow, and uneven distribution of benefits, resulting in water shortages in some systems. He feels disappointed in China's domestic ecological environment when compared with that of other countries. Zhao Lanjian said, for example, many pastures in Qinghai and Tibet have been fenced with wire mesh, which not only affects the migration of wild animals, but also prevents animals from hunting. The ecological chain is broken. Construction of highways and railways bring about so-called economic development. However, it brings personnel, energy, and economic models from inland areas into ecologically fragile areas. Qinghai and Tibet are relatively fragile ecological areas. Once a large number of people come and build, it will lead to overheated tourism or development, affecting the ecology. Zhao said, the destruction of the entire Chinese environment, tourism resources, and the destruction of ecological resources may not be recoverable for decades or even hundreds of years to come. The Dalai Lama once called for the protection of the Tibetan Plateau, not only for the Tibetan people, but also for the integrity and sustainability of the world's environment. If the natural environment of Tibet is damaged, it will threaten the survival of millions of people in Asia. He said, this is not a question of 1 or 2 nations. This is a question of humanity. Our world is our home. There is no other planet where we may move or shift.